is bright and sunny and beautiful, but it is windy, so I'm not outside again today. I'm so disappointed. I'm a lying liar that lies. It's nice out here. It's nice enough to come out, and it's not too windy. Maybe the house is blocking the wind. So I'm here. Good morning. Thank you for joining me for coffee. The girls are here too. You probably hear them wrestling and such. And I'm here in the morning because I misremembered the time of Laura's appointment. It's at 1. So I had a leisurely morning. I didn't have to set the alarm. Very much nicer. We had a very nice day yesterday. Aura graduated from her rehab. She's very glad to not be taking that ride. But anyway, so we'll see your cardiologist today and see what he has to say. But she was excited to be finished, and they didn't work her quite as hard yesterday because of her knee, and so she wasn't exhausted when she got here, which was good. We had a delicious dinner. Oh, I took pictures. I'll show you my dinner. It was glazed beef ribs with mashed cauliflower and coleslaw. It was quite yummy, and that's exactly what I'm going to have today for my dinner. It's D&D night for Dennis, and so I'll be eating the leftovers. And we just sat and chatted. We had a very long and very interesting conversation about Nietzsche. Dennis is an interesting companion in Corona times, I do have to say. So that was fun. And anyway, got me interested. He has a kind of a biography discussion of Nietzsche's philosophy book. And he couldn't find the hard copy, but he happened to have it on Kindle too, which I share his Kindle. We talk to each other because we're one household. And so, and I finished the Count of Monte Cristo last night, so I think I'm going to start reading about Nietzsche. Dennis, I asked him if Nietzsche was his favorite, and he said, yeah, I think so. I think so. But Dennis was a philosophy major in college. I think he's a Renaissance man. Yeah, he's a computer guy. You know, he was a cook. He was a philosophy major and wanted to stay in State College. He went to Penn State. And so he was a cook. He was a cook for 10 years because, you know, philosophy. Aren't all cooks philosophers? And then he decided to get a real job and went to school to become a computer guy. And then was a computer guy for 30 years. More than 30 years. But anyway. Yeah. So I'm going to be reading a little bit of Nietzsche. Or a little about him. Dennis says he's hard to read, and I'm not sure I'm ready. But anyway, so we had a very fun day. It was a very interesting conversation. And I finished my Count of Monte Cristo when she left, so I didn't do any stitching yesterday at all. But I had a very nice day. But I did look up the sweater I was talking about that Benta of Arctic Crafts podcast and Arctic Crafts Yarn had made and shown on Instagram, and it's called Grammy's Medley Sweater by Tina C. T-S-E-C. And I'm going to grab a shot of the pattern picture and see if I can do that and put that here so you can see. It's really interesting. Leslie thought it was maybe some mosaic and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, looks like it'll take a little brain power, but I'm getting ready to, you know, I'm getting tired of feeling like I don't have any brain power for my knitting. So maybe that means I got my mojo back a little bit. I'm not sure. Although, if I've got brain power, I need to start my mosaic on my I can't remember the name of that pattern. No. It'll come to me. My sweater. Ugh. My brain. Anyway, I wrote it down on my pad. Now my pad is getting really full. Lots of things are crossed off. So it's almost time to make a new page and start over. But I'm going to do my show notes before I do that, so I don't have to put them on the next one, because that's ridiculous. I do have a tendency to do that. Like, I'm getting ready to write. I don't want to. Let me just go do that. So maybe I'll do that. Anyway, so I may stop by a flower, a garden center. Dennis has apple trees, and we never get very many apples. Mostly because we don't actually get very many apples. But even when we get apples, we have a squirrel that eats them. But we hardly ever get apples on the wine sap trees. And, they're planted in such a way that there's always a pollinator near the wine sap, because wine saps are not self-pollinating, so they're essentially sterile, so they need another kind of apple tree to cross-pollinate with. And so he has a Golden Delicious next to it. And the wine sap actually has blossoms, but I don't know that the Golden Delicious has any blossoms yet, so that's a little weird. But in the front, we have a Granny Smith that's like really covered with blossoms, and a wine sap that has a few blossoms on it. But Dennis is concerned because we haven't seen we have seen so few pollinators that, it's okay, all well and good to have flowers, but if you don't have pollinators, it doesn't do you much good. I did see one carpenter bee on the Granny Smith, but it's covered with blooms, and it should be covered with pollinators, and it is not. And we have not, I've had some mosquitoes out here one of the nights, but we haven't seen, we do have a carpenter bee that lives on our deck, and maybe that's the one I saw. Anyway, I'm going to stop at a garden place and get a flat of impatiens. I planted impatiens on the around the shed last year, and they looked really good, and they did really well. So I thought I would get a flat of impatiens, and I would just lay the flat of impatiens underneath the back trees to give more flowers, so maybe more pollinators will come. And then once the apple blossoms are gone, I'll plant the impatiens in my garden. But that would give extra boost to the area over there for more flowers. Since there aren't a lot of flowers on those trees, they're not going to attract pollinators. And if we don't get flowers on the Golden Delicious, we're going to need pollinators from the front yard to come all the way over there. So we need something else. So I thought I would get some impatiens. You probably can't even hear me because the wind is picking up. I don't know if it's whistling in the phone. I hope not. But I have my daffodils in the front that are helping attract pollinators to the trees in the front. Every little bit helps. I did get my seeds. Did I tell you I got my seeds? Did I put seeds on the list? Oh, I didn't cross seeds off. I got my seeds. So I have, they're inside. I'll show you. I'll read them to you tomorrow, maybe. But I've got a bee mix. I got a big bag of bee mix seeds. So I've got to figure out where I want to plant those. And actually not just toss them around. I just tossed the wildflower seeds last time and nothing grew. So I can't just toss them around. I have to plant them. I need to figure out where I'm going to plant them. And then I got a shady mix, because I have a lot of trees around here, although not nearly as many as we used to. And they're going fast. But we have kind of a shady place between the driveways in the front. That's always just a mess of weeds. We don't do anything with it. We can't even mow because it's full of sticks. So I might work on cleaning that up and cultivating a little bit and planting flowers, and that would be fun. So Anyway, so I have 3 kinds of flowers to plant, flower mixes. And then I got 2 kinds of cucumbers to try to grow little pickling cucumbers. And I got a hot pepper plant for us to have hot peppers. But I have a grand plan. Dennis has a patch. There's a patch of, and maybe I talked to you about this before, of dirt between the walkway and the garage, right off the deck there. And right now it's a thistle patch. It's been a thistle patch for years. Dennis always has these plans about how he's gonna like put plastic and mulch and everything and just try to kill the thistles, because he doesn't want to, we don't want to poison the ground, but the thistles just keep coming back. So I had a grand idea. I had a cunning plan. So my cunning plan, we are going to implement my cunning plan, which is to take out the thistles as best we can. Cover the whole ground in that black plastic stuff that keeps the weeds from coming up. And then just cover the whole space with bags of topsoil. So the whole space is just covered with bags of topsoil over the plastic, so there's no place for the thistles to come through. And then just slice the bags and make the bags like, you know, like a garden, like a pot garden, a container garden. But the containers are the bags themselves. And people have done this. And so I want to plant a couple tomato plants. I want to plant some mint in there, because Juanita sent me a link to a guy talking about mint. And I think my problem with my mint patch is it's too shady. And so I'm going to make a bag of mint out here and see how it goes. I'll see how it goes. I think Dennis is going to use all the containers that we have here for what he's doing. So I'll get a couple pepper plants, a couple tomato plants, mint plants, and my guess is that's where we're going to put the cucumbers too, now that I think about it. Because it's a, you know, it's a 4 foot by 8 foot, 10 foot, you know, it's as much garden as we want to garden. And if we have it in the bags, we probably won't have very many weeds. So anyway, that's my cunning plan. There you go. So if I see a gardening place between Aura's and Aura's doctor, I am going to get the flat of impatience, because we'll be in Aura's car. I can't get the dirt too, but I'll get the flat of impatience. And if not, then, you know, maybe we'll just go. Maybe we'll just go on the weekend. I don't know. Probably not. If I don't find impatiens today, then we'll get them on Monday. But it is kind of disturbing to not have any pollinators. No bees, no butterflies, not even wasps. I don't know if wasps are really pollinators, probably not. But no honeybees, no native bees. You know, honeybees are an invasive species. Did you know that? Yeah, they came over with colonists from Europe. But we don't have any, although we are hopeful that next year we'll see more, because about a half a mile as the crow flies, or the bee flies, one of our neighbors that we see on the way to walking the dogs has 6 hives. He used to have hives, and then he didn't have hives anymore for a few years, but now he has hives sitting there again. So we have hopes. We have hopes of having bees around because of that, but we haven't seen any yet. So I don't know. I don't know if those hives aren't populated yet, or if those bees are hanging around at home. I don't know. But we have hopes for them. You have a bird? Anyway, So that's what's happening today. But I'm going to take a ride with Aura. It's a gorgeous day for a ride. It's a 45-minute ride at least to this doctor. But it's a beautiful ride. It's a beautiful ride through Chester County, Pennsylvania, which is a beautiful place. So, you know, could be worse. I could have to go into Center City, Philadelphia. That would be terrible. We would be taking the train. Anyway, I'm going to go. Oh, I'm so glad I stuck my head out the door. It's so nice out here. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please stay safe and stay sane.